everyone, it's Zolo here and welcome to the deck profile for the First of the Dragons 2.0. Now, we've gotten a lot of new vanilla Pendulum monsters in the game right now since the release of the Clash of Rebellions, so I thought I want to breathe some life into this deck again because it's the one video which has gotten over 1,000 views of all of them, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Seriously, I'm almost at 1.5k views on that, so thanks for the support, anyone who's a regular subscriber or just coming by to watch it. And I'll have the link down below in the description if you want to see the original one so you can see the changes I've made, but the decks play pretty similarly. Now there are a couple of differences, namely that we're running the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon along with the Draconite Luster Pendulum and the new Eccentric Archfiend, which I love this card, by the way. It's by far one of my top 10 favorite cards right now, just because of how useful it is. Right now we're also running a mini Odd Eyes engine, I guess, with the Sky Arc, the Odd Eyes Fusion, and the regular Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, because I like the Odd Eyes engine. Simply because it gives us Vortex Dragon as well as the first of the dragons, which the deck is entirely based around. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile, and I will explain my choices as we go along. So our first card of the day is the Lance Fornicus. This is a scale 7 wind dinosaur monster. It's just a pendulum, scale 7, that's all you need to know, and its pendulum effect is that it gives all your normal monsters piercing damage. It's not all that great, but it's something, I guess, and it's a scale 7, so yeah. Next we go for the Mandragon. It's just a vanilla monster that's 2500 attack, and it's a scale 2, so you can use that for your scale completions, and it's kind of nice, I guess. Next we go for the Focalt Spellstone Cannon. It's actually a better scale 2 than Mandragon, but Mandragon is more attack, so hence why I picked 3 Mandragon as well as 3 Focalt. When Focalt is activated during the end phase of the turn he is played, you can target one face-up spell trap card on the field and destroy it, including himself if you really want to, but since during the end phase it's not all that great. The end phase effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon is much better, but still it's something, you know. Next we have Sky Dragoons Draconia. This card is amazing. Whenever you inflict battle damage with a normal monster, you get to pop any card on the field, which is really, really good. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain too much about it. It's a level 5 winged beast monster, in case you're interested in that. And it also has 2,200 attack, so that's kind of neat, I guess. Next we go for the double Vector Pendulum, the Draco Ruler. This card is a little bit of tech of mine. You can choose to not run it if you don't want to, but it basically makes it so that your opponent's pendulum scales don't have any effects, which is great against Cleaforts, because there's one part of the Cleafort effect which cannot be negated, and that is that they cannot special summon anything but Cleafort monsters. However, it still negates the effects of both Scout as well as Tool and, Scout and Monolith, those two. So that is really nice, as well as the other ones. When they're in the Pendulum Zone, they give your monsters attack and stuff like that. That's also negated. So, which is really something that Cleaforts hate, is when their friggin' Pendulum Zones are basically worthless besides the whole pendulum aspect to them. So it's nice, and besides it's one-sided, so you can't really complain too much. Next we go for Dragoons Draconia. This card is the main pendulum scale that you're going to be using, just because that he searches the entire deck basically. When you destroy a monster by battle with a normal monster, you can add one level 4 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand. So, and every normal monster we run here is, guess what, level 4 or higher. So we can search everything in this deck with Dragoons Draconia, which is awesome. Next we go for the Wandora Dragon. It's basically just another level 4 that's searchable by Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Nothing too fancy, but it's a nice little, I guess, wall in case you really need it. But the big wall we're going to get into later. As for the non-normal monsters, we have the double Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This card is basically just you pop it in your friggin' Pendulum Zone, and then you add another Pendulum monster with 1,500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. Our targets for this is going to be your Dora Dragon, as well as your 3 eccentric Archfiends. So yeah, those are the main targets for it. Next we run double Dragonite Luster Pendulum. I really like this card as well, just because it's a Pendulum tuner monster. Sadly, the monster he can only go into right now is Explosive Dragonite Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer, rather. He is like the one you're gonna be going into for the most part. As for the... And finally we're on triple eccentric Archfiend. This card is absolutely amazing, just because it allows you to pop spells and traps, as well as it acts as a sort of... Well, yeah. The one card that tributes off itself to pop a card in your opponent control. So it's kind of nice, the fact that it's a pendulum, so you can recur it whenever and just pop shit all over the place. So it gives the deck some necessary removal, which is nice. As far as the spells go, we run a triple Odd Eyes Fusion and 1 Fusion Substitute. These are going to be your main ways of going into your fusions. More or less this one over the other one, but we'll get into that later. Odd Eyes Fusion is basically... It's just a polymerization for the deck, really, but it has some other interesting quirks with it, and that is that if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, you don't control any monsters, you can also use Odd Eyes monsters from the extra deck as fusion materials. So you can use like Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon plus 1 Pendulum monster in your hand or on your side of the field to make Vortex Dragon, which is pretty damn good. Next, of course, and don't even get me started if you have multiples of them in the extra deck, because then you can just use both of them to make a Vortex Dragon. So yeah, Fusion Substitute is kind of like the other, it's just for added consistency, because it gives you recurability for your Odd Eyes monsters as well as your First of the Dragons, and on top of things, it's a nice card to have. Like, I can't really complain, because it's a fusion spell. Sure, it only takes from your side of the field, but it works. Next we go for 1 Summoner's Art for search power. Then we run a triple Supply Squad, because this deck runs a lot of monsters that would most likely be destroyed in some way, shape, or form, just to come back later on. So, you know, getting some extra drop power in is never a bad thing. Then we run double Fire Formation Tenki to search out our Dragoons and Draconia on the run too, because, well, he's not as important as you might think. He's really important, sure, but you can run the deck without him just fine. If you don't draw into him, or if you can't search him in a game, that's fine, because you have other pendulum monsters as well to utilize. This is the whole deck is basically pendulums. So yeah. Next to go for the triple Sky Arc, the last part of the Odd Eyes engine. It basically allows you to, you know, pop 1 card on the field, pop 1 of your own cards, and then add an Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. Now, the interesting thing is it actually does synergize with Supply Squad, so that's a really nice thing. You can basically go pop your own monster, or a Pendulum Scale, but you're most likely going to be taking the monsters to add 1, say, Odd Eyes Fusion, or an Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, or what have you. Those are basically your only targets for it, but it's still only targets you'll ever need, because this card will not... It runs out of its use after a certain while, but it's still a nice card to have, because, you know, reasons, I guess. And then finally, we run the double Oscillating Vibration to cycle out our Pendulum monsters, to get things like that we don't really want in our like... The end goal, so to speak, is not to have Mandragon as your Pendulum Scale. The end goal here is to get Dragoons Draconia plus your Sky Dragoons to get as much advantage as possible. And the thing is that you're most likely not going to get that your first turn unless you get a really amazing starting hand or something like that. So you can use this to advance your game state, like getting extra draws and stuff like that. It's really nice. As for the extra deck, we're on double First of the Dragons, double Vortex Dragon, double Ignister Prominence, 1 Gaia Dragon of Thunder Charger, 1 full armored Crystal Zero Lancer, 1 Wind-Up Arsenal Sinmeo, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Freezerdon, 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, 1 Heartland Draco, 1 Castel, 1 and finally 1 Evil Swarm Excisionite. And that runs up the extra deck, guys. So tell me what you think, and I'm out.